Hello and welcome back to Typical City. I'll take that. I will take that, to be honest. Oh, that was not an easy watch. That second half was absolutely grim watching. It was heart-pounding stuff, to be honest. And it's mistake after mistake. Like the title says, it's killed us. Another mistake in the space of a 90 minutes football match has cost us dearly. It really has again. And I can't think off the top of my head every single one of the mistakes that have happened over the course of this Premier League season. Emphasis on Premier League, by the way, because in the Champions League, we're nothing like that. We don't seem to be making mistakes in the Champions League. We seem impeccable, totally assured and composed. The level of opposition we've gone up against in the Champions League, not been great. But in the Premier League, how many mistakes going all the way back to the start of the season with Sheffield United and Kyle Walker? We got away with that. Gvardiol, numerous mistakes from Gvardiol. One at Stamford Bridge, Ruben Diaz, halfway line against Newcastle. Kyle Walker's had mistakes. Phil Foden giving away a penalty at home to Crystal Palace. Nathan Ake in the second half against Liverpool at Anfield, gifting them a penalty like that. It's mistake after mistake. It really is. And you get punished. There are points that are not on the board because of the mistakes that we've made. It has cost us God knows how many points. I'm not doing the maths. I'm not going to work it out. But you're looking at 5 or 6 points, surely, to the point where we'd be comfortably sitting ahead. Now, I get that the game can't be perfect. There is no perfect football match. You can't be perfect in a football match. It's not possible. Mistakes happen. But it's the catastrophic standard of these mistakes. They're not little errors. It's Nathan Ake had all the time in the world there. He's just got to get his head up, and he did. That's what bothered me more than anything. He did get his head up. He looked up, saw Ederson, thought, right, okay, now I'm looking back down to play it with my weaker foot, the right foot. You're better off putting it out for a bloody corner, over-hitting it than under-hitting it. It was terrible. And I'd argue that even though it is completely Nathan Ake's fault, 100% Nathan Ake's fault, Ederson then made the mistake that followed on from the Nathan Ake mistake by flying in like that. He should have read the run from Darwin Nunez. He was never going to win that, Ederson. He was never going to win it. You should know that Darwin Nunez's speed's going to get in ahead of him. It's going to get in ahead of him. And he nipped in, as expected. We could all see it. Whether you're there on the pitch, I'm sure it's very, very different in the heat of the moment that Ederson didn't see that situation quite like the rest of the world probably saw that situation, that Darwin Nunez was winning that ball all day long. All day long. I was thinking just stay away. Let him win it and maybe you can shepherd him, get in front of him, make him get a corner, something like that. But he wouldn't even be questioned. Ederson wouldn't even be tested had Nathan Ake just played that ball accurately. And the frustrating thing about the whole game that followed that was the pendulum just swung in Liverpool's favour from that moment. We're talking the 48th minute into the second half. We didn't even get to the 5-minute mark in the second half. It's a killer blow. It really is. And as much as I said in my preview, I would take a draw. That was thinking the idea of Konate, who was reported to be okay. Salah was likely to start. I think that was everyone's assumption for this game. If those two players start this game, I would take a draw. I would take a draw, and I think it makes sense now. You can see why. For those people that seem to not understand the impact of Anfield, I'm a seasoned City fan. I know what Anfield goes on at Anfield. I know how difficult and how hostile. We've won there twice since 1981. That's a ridiculous record we've got at Anfield. And once again, we're coming away with dropped points. I'm not surprised. I don't know why people are thinking, when the team news comes out, though, I'm rubbing my hands together. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. It felt, I could smell something in the air. I was like, yes, no Mo Salah, and Konate, who was reported fit, isn't fit. Take your hand, I'll snap your hand off. Absolutely love that idea of going against that Liverpool side with no Mo Salah and no Konate. Brilliant, okay? And the game played like that in the first half. I felt like in the first half, Liverpool, it was a 10-minute spell from us and a 10-minute spell from Liverpool. Very much boxers going blow for blow with each other and they were exchanging blows. I felt like our blows were just a bit harder. We were hitting harder. We were breaking their lines with a little bit more ease. The clarity of our chances were better than theirs. I felt like we were just generally just edged it in the first half. Second half, I felt like Liverpool for the first 20 minutes, following on from that goal in particular, all the way up until about the 75th minute, maybe like the 80th, dominant. Liverpool, we were just hanging on and just fending off chances. And can we please put some respect on Kyle Walker's name? Please. Can we do that, City fans? I know there's many of you will absolutely agree with me, and that I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that seem to have a very negative and unwarranted, totally unfair agenda against Kyle Walker, because he has saved us today. He has saved us. What a fantastic defensive performance from Kyle Walker. The one moment I'm going to be critical of him was that first half, that cross that goes over to, whips it across the face of goal to Kevin De Bruyne at the back post. If he can just take some fizz off that cross, and De Bruyne is waiting for it, just wait, delay the cross a little bit, or don't hit it so hard. Walker drops to his knees and puts his hands to his mouth because he knows that was an opportunity to make it 2-0. But why is that ball even being crossed? Because Kyle Walker has intercepted a brilliant interception in City's half, and then he knocks it past Gomez and he's away. Kyle Walker made that chance. So the one moment I'm being critical of him, it was self-made. He made the opportunity in the first place. So well done, Kyle Walker. Outside of that one bad cross, the defensive actions that he performed in that second half has saved Manchester City. Luis Diaz thankfully fluffed his lines in that one-on-one situation. Fluffed his lines completely. There was another opportunity that was 2 or 3 minutes after that where Kyle Walker gets back and clears his lines. Then there's another situation for Luis Diaz where Mo Salah lays it across almost onto the penalty spot. Luis Diaz coming across it was going to whip that first time right foot, and Kyle Walker just throws himself at it. Brilliant. Hero defending, that is. Warrior, soldier, battler. Absolutely fantastic from Kyle Walker, that was. An unbelievable bit of defending, to the point where he ends up injured. He had to drop down and he was injured, and he sat there on the floor with a dead leg, whatever it may be. I'm hoping he's all right, because he has just proven why he starts. He has proven today why Pep Guardiola keeps putting him in this starting 11. That's why. That's why Kyle Walker plays. Absolutely brilliant. Right, Julian Alvarez. On the other hand, what a shocking performance from Julian Alvarez. And there's a part of me that looks at Pep and says, why are you playing him on the left, mate? We need to pick a player. Because Doku, who was awful against Manchester United, awful. He came on and was a bright spark, something that was exciting. He hit the post and just imagine if that goes in. Just imagine if that goes in. I would say it would be a bit harsh on Liverpool because they were peppering our goal, and Doku goes up the other end and hits the post. Fortunately, lands back into the hands of Kelleher. Yeah, I felt like it would have been a little bit harsh on Liverpool, but I would not be complaining, put it that way. Doku comes on for that 20 minutes or so at the end of the game. Bright spark, exciting. He did the right thing. A lot of his decisions were made correctly. Brilliant. That performance was a complete mirror of the performance compared to the Manchester Derby performance. It was just nothing like that whatsoever. Brilliant. The problem is now, can we trust Doku to start? What Pep needs to do is pick a lane, mate. You can't be chopping and changing that left side. I said it in my preview. It came true in this game. That left-hand side is a problem for Manchester City. And the fact that Jack Grealish has been in and out of this team for the majority of the season is starting to indicate that we still don't have a player that's grabbed that left side of the position and said, that's mine now. Everyone else can bow down to me because I'm the left side of this Manchester City side. Doku's the closest player to it right now. He's the closest one, but we've seen Alvarez now playing in there. It's all good and well playing Alvarez on the left wing against Copenhagen at home, no problem, but away to Liverpool at Anfield. That was a crazy move, and he was shocking, Alvarez. He was shocking, and I love the guy. You know he's got a goal threat. You put him in the box where he's dangerous, and we're going to see goals most likely from Julian Alvarez, but it was like bouncing off him. It was like he was a little mobile wardrobe on wheels. It was just bouncing off him. He couldn't control his own water today. It was a joke of a performance from Alvarez. Really, really disappointed in Julian Alvarez. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. So on comes Doku. Does that mean Doku's now our left-sided player? Because what I saw against United, that concerned me. That worried me. Oscar Bob? Does Oscar Bob, is he got the mental capacity, the maturity? Has he played enough minutes in a Manchester City shirt to be starting away at Anfield? Pep didn't think so. I kind of agree with him a little bit. I would have loved to have seen it, because who knows? It's hindsight. We never know anymore. But in reality, we don't have a left-sided player that we can go, yes, that's our guy. That's our guy for the rest of the season. Pep needs to make a decision now. He needs to decide that's the man. If it's Doku, stick with him. There's no point playing him and then, you know, he has a bad game and then he's dropped for the next game, because it's going to do no good for his confidence. It doesn't give confidence to the guy who's coming in, because he's now got pressure to go, right, okay, oh, the onus is on me now, is it? I'm the one who's got to step up on the left-hand side now, and I've got to do the job for the Manchester City side on that left-hand side. That's not good for him. And then he does a bad game. Oh, Doku, you're back in now, mate. You're back in now, Doku. He doesn't. We've got to pick someone, because we know Phil Foden can play in the middle. He can play on the right. He can probably, or definitely, play on the left. He can play that. He can play at false nine. He can play up front. Phil Foden. We know what we get. We can hang our hat on Phil Foden. We can hang our hat on Kevin De Bruyne. You know, we've had Nunez playing out there as well. It was a massive problem throughout this game, and they were there for the taking. They were there for the taking in that first half. And Alvarez did not capitalise on that in the slightest. I felt like Haaland was anonymous, and I was pulling my hair out at the idea of Ortega, who came on and produced a big save as well. A couple of big saves from Darwin Nunez. A ball fed across the face of goal, and Darwin Nunez gets a touch on it. Goal bound. Ortega makes himself big, blocks the shot. Good. But there were moments where Ortega was just lumping it up to Haaland, and it's like, no one, you're not going to beat Van Dijk there, mate. There's no one beating Van Dijk in the air. So that was a waste of time. Haaland felt like a bit of an anonymous player in that second half, which was a bit frustrating to see that. I thought Phil Foden was absolutely sensational once again. He quietened down a little bit in that second half, but it's through no fault of his own. I felt like the whole team just dropped a level. Once that goal went in, they felt the pressure, just the ball being sucked into the goal by Liverpool, or trying to at least. Thankfully they didn't. But I mean, just the pressure just ramped up as soon as we gifted them that goal. And it was a devastating blow. Nathan Ake is absolutely to blame. A real shame. I'm sure there's someone blaming Kyle Walker for that somewhere in the world. I'm sure there is somewhere. I felt like Rodri looked a bit nervous today as well. He didn't do anything drastically bad or anything, Rodri, but he looked a bit shaky in that midfield. There was a couple of passes, and what bothered me more than anything, it isn't the performance from Rodri, it was the attitude that he showed to his teammates. He played a couple of really bad 5-yard passes, one to Kovacic and one to John Stones in the first half, where John Stones has to reach for it, go forward. It was a hospital ball from Rodri, really difficult, and making him work for it. John Stones doesn't win the ball because a simple pass became a very easy ball for Liverpool to win. And Rodri's doing that, like throwing his arms up in the air and throwing his arms at John Stones like it's Stones' fault. Mate, hold your hands up. You made the mistake, Rodri. As much of a god that you are, Rodri, because you are Godry. You will forever be lived as a Manchester City legend for doing what you did in Istanbul last season. Outside of that, the player that you're an unbelievable player. But mate, we need a better leadership qualities than that. We can't have Bruno Fernandes attitude out there. I hate it. I hate it. I can't stand watching it. If you're going to open your mouth, let's keep it constructive when you're talking to your own teammates. Mouth off at the referee, mouth off at the opposition, but don't be throwing your arms at your own teammates when you're the one who's giving it away, because that creates toxic environments. It creates arguments. It creates pressure. It creates an environment that's unpleasant for your own teammates to play in, as if it's not already unpleasant enough to play at Anfield. Don't make it worse. I understand you're frustrated. I understand that. But Rodri's got to keep his attitude in check, you know, when he's talking to his own teammates. It's a little detail, but these things matter. They matter on the pitch. You know, you've got someone whinging, and just like, you don't need your blood pressure going even higher at Anfield with some guy screaming at you from a mistake that he made. You know, killer. But he wasn't drastic in terms of his performance. He was okay. I just felt like he was a little bit like nervous. His footwork was like very like like Bambi on ice a little bit. You can tell when a player's composed because they just stand still. When they get the ball, they're just slow. You know what I mean? They're like relaxed and almost too much at times. You need to be careful you don't get caught on the ball, of course. But John Stones was just cool as a cucumber throughout this whole game. Throughout this whole game, he was cool as a cucumber. But Rodri, for the first time in a very long time, he looked like shaky. He looked really like the occasion was a lot for him to deal with. He's come away and he's keeping his unbeaten record in check. So fair play to Rodri. What's that now? 61 games unbeaten for Rodri. So well played, mate. There's no denying what a player Rodri is. To go that many games unbeaten, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. But I do feel like he wasn't at his best today. But Akanji, solid at the back. Really, really good. Winning lots of aerial duels. He did really well dealing with Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez had to be hooked off at the half time. Kevin De Bruyne wasn't that impactful. I agreed a little bit, to be honest, with Pep bringing him off because I don't think he did as much. De Bruyne showed his distaste to the decision, understandable, because he wants to play. He feels he can impact the game. I can see why City fans might be annoyed to bring off Kevin De Bruyne for Kovacic, but Kovacic came on and he did well. He controlled that. Some of the passes that were fired into him, the City players made it difficult for Kovacic at times. One Ortega pass that he had to stretch for, but he came on and he controlled the game and he slowed it down appropriately. Did Kovacic, and I thought he was decent. Kovacic. But yeah, I mean, Walker for me was absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. The impact of Doku coming on again, I've mentioned that already. It would be nice to see him continue that now, going into the rest of the season. For me, now I've seen enough of Doku for me to think like he's going to have bad games, it could be costly, but let's stick with him now. Because we can't keep changing it week in, week out. Of course, there's Bernardo Silva, who was just an absolute engine as well. He could play out there, maybe play him out left. If you're going to play Foden right, Alvarez and De Bruyne in the middle, but I don't like that, to be honest. I'd rather Foden be inside. But then if you're moving Bernardo Silva onto the left, who do you play on the right? We've got the same problem on the other side of the pitch all of a sudden. So it's frustrating. It is frustrating because we've got an unbalanced side right now, with a side that if Foden's on the right, we don't know what we're doing on the left, but if Foden's in the middle, we don't really know what we're doing on the right. If Bernardo Silva's not on the right, it's just, there's that one area that's just not been fixed by Pep throughout this season. Oscar Bob, could we be giving him the trust to be a player that's not got that many minutes to step up to the plate? But anyway, Blues, thanks for joining me in the chat as always. 400 watching, only 68 likes. Do you reckon you could pop a like on the stream if you haven't already? It really, really helps the channel. Massively helps. But yeah, Clara saying, good to see you, Clara, as well. You were talking to someone else there. But penalty as well, that's something I wanted to talk about as well, because I feel like I saw a lot of City fans saying that was a definite penalty. Now, I'm torn on it, to be honest. If I'm Liverpool, I'm screaming for it. I'm screaming for it if I'm Liverpool. There is an argument to be had that Doku didn't go in with force. He went in with a very limp, loose, like hovering right boot. Doku, by the way, is to blame for that situation to even come about, because it was his hesitation on the edge of the box. The ball, don't be letting the ball bounce there, Doku, mate. You've got to go for it, mate. Just clear it. As soon as you see it, clear it like that. But he hesitated. He let it bounce. McAllister steps in. He side foots McAllister. And that's what gets him away with it, I think. If he goes in with his studs and the studs impact McAllister, penalty all day long. The fact that Doku, he went in quite loose, he sort of pulled his foot out a little bit and he still connects. And that's why I think Liverpool fans will be screaming penalty. And I get that. You can't really blame them for shouting for a penalty there. But there is an argument to be had that it wasn't a penalty. I still feel like there's a debate there, because Doku's side foot sort of like, it was limp. It wasn't that, powerful. McAllister was already on his way down. I've seen some people suggesting that Nunez dived. I mean, he was already on his way down, but Ederson wipes him out, I think. And there's a reason why Ederson went off injured, because he got a dead leg. And why did he get a dead leg? Because he smashed into Darwin Nunez. So I'm surprised that that's being considered a dive, to be honest. I think Darwin Nunez played for it. He went down early, but I mean, Ederson clattered him, mate. He absolutely clattered him, and you're hoping that's not long-term. But if it's a dead leg, I'd imagine it'd be a couple of days. We've got now, a week's rest, the week off to recoup. We're still well within a fighting chance. Let's have it right. Arsenal next. What a ridiculous game that's going to be. Arsenal beat them. Liverpool win, they go top. Liverpool go top. So we're back chasing Liverpool. Now, for the first time in a long time, it's not in our hands anymore. Because if the fact that before we could play Liverpool, we had the ability to say, if we beat Liverpool, we go top. So therefore, the Premier League title is in our hands. We're talking about Michael Owen level of obvious statements right now. But that's the facts of it. That's the facts of it. Now, even if we beat Arsenal, if Liverpool go and win the rest of their games for the rest of the season and we beat Arsenal, Liverpool win the league. It's as simple as that. And Liverpool will probably shake hands with City fans right now and say, I'd say they take a draw, we take a draw. They're obviously looking at the Arsenal game, Liverpool, and been hoping for another draw in that situation, or potentially a City win. Because that puts Liverpool back in the driving seat, doesn't it? What a title race, though. What a title race. From my point of view, selfishly, shite. I hate it. I'm annoyed that we're being chased and hounded by two clubs that are proving to be more than a pest now, aren't they? Very serious title contenders, let's have it right. From the neutral perspective, it's incredible. It really is incredible that 3 teams now are going gung-ho for this title race. It's going to be ridiculous. It really, really is. What this is going to bring now, how the City players feel. You know Nathan Ake is going in that changing room at the end of the game. You know he's going in there and he's going, sorry, lads. Sorry, lads. I'm looking at that one now from Jeremy Doku. For me, it's not a penalty. I'm saying it's not a penalty. Klopp's claiming it's a penalty. I can't. He's being interviewed in front of me right now. I imagine he's saying it's a penalty. I would get that point, to be honest. But for me, I would take it. Newcastle, class, yeah. FA Cup. I'm glad we're at home. We did get a little bit of a boost today for the Villa game because that's a game that worries me. Aston Villa are on fire as well. McGinn is suspended for that game, having got a straight red card as well. He's out and he is the absolute engine for Aston Villa. So that's good news that we don't have to face McGinn because I think he's... we saw how powerful he can be. You know, when we went to Villa Park, he bossed us. You know, when we got battered by Villa at Villa Park, didn't we? But ever since then, we've been... Results-wise, ever since then, we've been really good. Results-wise. Performances have been a bit... Even in the space of this game, it was up and down, wasn't it, really? Like, spells of dominance from Manchester City, followed by spells of shakiness and, like... You have to accept that, though, because Liverpool are not mugs, are they? They're a bloody good side. So you almost have to allow them to play their game a bit. You have to accept there's going to be some defending to do. You can't dominate for 90 minutes against Liverpool, but I haven't seen the match stats, but I have a very good feeling that Liverpool had more of the ball in this game than we did. I wouldn't be surprised if they had more shots as well, and I haven't seen the match stats, but it felt like that it was very much in Liverpool's favour. I might be wrong in that. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to do my player ratings tomorrow, of course. There's going to be some wild player ratings there tomorrow because there's some real peaks and troughs within the starting 11. Some superstar defending for me. A little bit shaky on the other side of defence as well from Nathan Ake. Kyle Walker has been brilliant. Foden was brilliant. Haaland anonymous. Rodri mixed. John Stones fantastic. Akanji fantastic. Yeah, we'll see. I'll go into more detail tomorrow with the player ratings. 19 shots to City's 10. Is that the facts? Wow. There you go, mate. There you go. Yeah. Like I said, I'm happy with the draw. We live to fight another day, but another day might not be the day we can use because if Liverpool win all their games, then we've lost the opportunity. It doesn't matter if we win all ours. If they win all theirs, we're done. Liverpool win the league. I don't think they will, though. I don't think they will. There is some potential banana skins for Liverpool. You never know. You never know. It's going to be an interesting game. Let's have a look. What you say? 55%. There you go. Yeah, 55% possession to Liverpool to City's 45. Yeah, it felt like that. It felt like Liverpool edged it in the stats department. But, you know, a win is not on the cards for Manchester City, but a draw is a good draw, considering the circumstances. I think once I saw the team sheet, I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to win this. And that first half, I was thinking, we are going to win this. It's just so annoying that one mistake has cost us. But it's not like Liverpool didn't have chances, by the way, outside of that mistake. It's just we start talking hypothetically now, don't we? We talk about like what could have been had Nathan Ake not made that mistake. Would we have controlled the game to a better degree, to the point where Liverpool don't create as many chances? They don't get that momentum. They don't get the buzz of a goal. Who can deny the buzz of a goal? The feeling that you get with a goal. It swings the whole game. It flips the script on its head. And that's what Nathan Ake's wrapped up, gift wrapped, pop a bow on it, and there you go, Liverpool. Enjoy your momentum for the rest of the second half. We gifted it him, and it's. I just wonder what would have been had that not happened. But let's have it right. Nathan Ake has been one of our best defenders this season. He's made a mistake. It happens. It's just from a overall team point of view. You're looking at, can we please just get through a game without one person making a mistake? I'm not going to blame one person for making more mistakes than another person, or who's been the biggest culprit of making mistakes. I'm not in that game. I don't care about that. I want the whole team to not make that level of mistakes. We can't have individuals doing that. and that's why the title says what it says. Mistake after mistake. But Newcastle, then Arsenal. Yep, massive couple of games coming up. We've got to keep our momentum for the FA Cup as well. I say that we're never going to play Liverpool again. We could be facing them in the bloody FA Cup final, couldn't we? Or in the semi-finals. Who knows? Who knows? We could be facing this lot again. And Klopp and Pep lock horns once more. And that would surely be the final time for at least a few years at least. Unless Klopp goes and gets himself at another football club. But we'll have to wait and see. But Blues, thanks again for joining me in the match reaction. I'll take a point. If you're watching after the fact, please drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. Get in the comments below as well. I want to hear your thoughts with regards to whether this was a good point, an okay point, a bad point. Was it a penalty at the end for Liverpool? Did Pep get anything wrong? What about Alvarez on the left-hand side? What do we do going forward with the left-hand side now? Because we've got players coming in, coming out. We've got to make our mind up. We've got to pick a style, because that's one thing Pep never does, is ums and ahs and ponders over things. He picks a lane and he sticks to it. He drives in that lane for the rest of the season. Little tweaks here and there. That's it. But once he's picked a style of football, he sticks to it, and the player's in positions, he goes for the best player. But Alvarez playing on the left in this game signified to me that he doesn't know what to do on that left-hand side. He doesn't have complete faith in Jeremy Doku. He doesn't. Interesting. Interesting. Get in the comments below after the fact if you haven't watched it live. And if you are watching it live on your way out, please drop a like. It really does help. And thanks for joining me in this match reaction as well as the watch along. It's been a feisty one. A very feisty one. Come and join me for the player ratings and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And happy Mother's Day as well to all the mums out there as well. Hope you all the mums had a good day as well. Take care, everybody. See you in the next one.